I ended up going through Police Academy in 2010. I graduated 6 months later with my OPATA certification, which is Ohio Police Officers Training Academy. From that point, just dedicated my life to public safety.
So, Brandon, Mac, welcome. How's it going?
I'm good. How are you, sir?
I'm good. I'm great. Never better. Never a dull moment in the world of Oppmann. Trying to save lives, one industrial worker at a time, man. But hey, look, what I want to do first is I want to talk a little bit about your background. And your story in public service and environmental health and safety. So walk me through it. Where did it all start for you?
Sure. It all started for me on my grandma's kitchen floor, probably 1992. Basically from the time I could start walking, really. I had an obsession with anything Hot Wheels and Matchbox cars, and the only cars that I would get would be, fire trucks, police cars. That's it. If it didn't have a police or fire logo on it and lights on the top, I didn't want it. So it grew into a desire of public safety, and from that point, I ended up going through Police Academy in 2010. I graduated 6 months later with my OPATA certification, which is Ohio Police Officers Training Academy. From that point, just dedicated my life to public safety. In law enforcement, I've done everything, right? Like I was a sergeant, I was a canine handler, did a little bit of special response team, pretty much anything you could think of law enforcement, I did. From that point, then moved into solar, got into solar, building solar farms out here in Southern Ohio. From that point, was hired on by a manufacturing company and as their EHS specialist, and my wings just spread from there. I dove so far into the world of safety, and now you're absolutely right, Corey. I eat, breathe, and sleep safety. It's nuts. It's all that's in my head. So honestly, I wish I would have known about that career about 12 years ago. I would have majored for it in college, but instead, chose law enforcement. So.
Talk to me about the academy. You graduated in 6 months. What goes into getting that certification? Like how does all that work? I mean, I'm guessing there's some sort of fitness test, some sort of written test. What does that look like?
Pure hell. Well, spade a spade, you know what I mean? Pure hell. When you go through there, you have to learn not just the laws, but you're also having to learn, self-defense tactics, driving, shooting, everything. I mean, it's nuts, right? Your PT exam depends on your age category, right? So we started out with 32 kids in the class, and that was very first day. By the time it was all said and done, we finished with 11. That many had either dropped out or just couldn't make the cut. At the time, back in 2010, I actually had the track record. We had to run 1.5 miles for my age category in less than 11 minutes and 59 seconds. I ran it in 9.5, I think. So I held the record, which I'm sure is completely dissipated by now, as much as running has taken over, as in, it's nuts. You turn a corner and it's like, holy cow, somebody's running. I mean, it's all like Forrest Gump took over, you know what I mean? Anyway, so from that point, you do your run, then you'll do your push-ups and sit-ups. Push-ups had to be less than, I think it was 50 push-ups in less than a minute, 25 sit-ups in less than a minute. I could have them backwards. I mean, it's been so long ago, but it was extensive. I mean, it was definitely hardcore training, and you had to have the willpower and the drive to do it.
How'd you get into EHS?
So I actually got into it through mutual friends through the fire department. There was a friend of mine on the fire department. He had called me up one day. I was at home sitting on the couch, and he's like, "Hey man, you interested in a job?" And I said, "Well, sure. I mean, it just really all depends on hours and pay, right? I mean, everybody wants to know what you're going to make." And he put me on the phone with his dad. From that point on, it was pretty much history. Started out with that manufacturing company, and from that point on, man, I mean, it just my obsession with safety just grew and grew and grew and grew and grew. And, incredible. I mean, like I said, I really wish I'd have known about this career profession a long time ago.
For the people that are thinking about getting into safety, give me a few words of advice. I feel like there's a million different kinds of certifications that you can get. Where would you, if somebody's thinking about getting into safety, where do they start?
In all reality, I would really recommend going to college and getting that occupational health and safety degree. I've discovered not having that, how difficult it is to go through, say, the Board of Certified Safety Professionals and get your CSP and things like that. Without having that college degree, it's extremely hard to do. There are certifications out there for doctoral or, bachelor degree folks, but, it's a lot more difficult to come through. So if you really want to get a start in it, I would highly recommend college. If there even could be some trade schools out there in the States or even, foreign countries that I don't know about, but either way, that's where I would start, because that's where it's going to build your foundation. If you're like me, you're trying to build that foundation 20 years later, and it's a little more difficult to do.